Okay, today I'm going to show you some of the work I do to get the doors prepped. This car here, I'll just give you a quick little rundown. This one has all the door panels lined up. I'm gonna trim a little material off this. I didn't like it. And then once I do that, I'll be cleaning up these areas where I've sanded down material, clean this up, but everything is in place, the proper place. So it's all lined up properly. It sits on the running boards appropriately. It lines up where I want it to line up. The surfaces are fine. You know, I think I might have to adjust some fine adjustment here. I can feel the difference right here, right? I'll just bring this up a little bit. This one here, again, it's in pretty good shape. Some fine adjustments, but this is good. What I've done here, I got, excuse me. So on this one, I finally installed the latch. There's the, there it is right here. So push this, of course, and this opens up here. Allows it to open, rather, forgive the clumsiness of my videotaping. So what's happened here is I installed the strike here, right? And this strike has some adjustability to it. If you'll look, you'll see I can adjust left and right there, okay? And here, I can adjust it forwards and backwards, or up and down when it's in its proper orientation. Because what's happening is this. Here, when I press the lever here, right, you can see okay, a little plunger striking that lever and causing that latch to rotate. And what happens, these latches were actually developed and built by a gentleman named Seyhun in Turkey. Good guy. I've dealt with him for years. I saw these latches in a couple other parts on this door, on these cars rather, the door latches and these hood latches, door handles. These mechanisms I bought from him because there's no need to redo them. They're pretty good, really good. So what he's done is he has, if you look here, you'll see a grub here, right? And there's another one beneath on the other bottom side of this hook here. And in order to adjust this, you have to loosen the grub. It'll allow you to slide this hook, right, left to right, and then you loosen the grub beneath this on the bottom side here, and allows you to rotate that hook around this pin. And so what I had to do when I figure out where I want everything to line up, I add a couple washers in here and spacers just to get it where I want, so that when the strike comes down, it engages the hook exactly where I want it to, right? So that's that. That's it. Now you'll notice I can actually do a little bit, I have a little bit of leeway there, right? And that's good, because when the paint is on, it's gonna stiffen up a little bit, right? Take that slack out, and I'll wind up readjusting that just a little bit. And then what I'll do is I'll also put a little piece of rubber on the bottom side of each one of these corners on the hood so that it softens it when it lands. But that's how that's done. Now, everything else on this car, all the stuff that needs to happen for it, the doors to work, the latches, all that's done now. I I've located all the spots that are needed to install the let me see here, to install the foot pedal, right? I'm sorry, clutch and brake pedals, foot pedals down here in the floor. All that's marked out. All this stuff is cleaned up. All this has been cleaned up to install the buckets for the rear lights. The last thing I have to do on this car before I clean it up is on the front lights here. I have to put 2 notches, right? There's a notch goes here and over here, and something like that. And I put that all the way around. I'm sorry, on all 4 little notches there. Okay, and these notches allow the headlight, the bezels, to slide in, and then you rotate them to hook them into place here. So they come in here, slid, they get hooked into place. And I do this because I want people to have access, right? Folks have access. These LEDs should never go out. I don't see people, but if something were to happen, you need to get in here. At least you can get in here and fiddle fart and replace lights if you have to. So that's the last thing I need to do here on these. And when I do it, I guess I could videotape that. People want to see that. But once that's done, then all that's left is to actually go and clean up the body, right? Sand off the rough edges, smooth it up, make it pretty. And at the same time, I'm doing things like sanding these parts, right? This obviously is a front grille, right? It will be sanded to look something akin to this, nice and clean, smooth. And right now, the last parts I'm printing for this car to add on to it, I've already printed everything else out. The last parts I'm reprinting are the interior window trims, right? I'm reprinting them because these are a little long. I recall from the prototype, they're a little long, and when I went to put them in, I realized I forgot and had to go get the right file. So they're printing now, as a matter of fact. And over here, I'm printing more sets of the bucket lights for the rear lights. Right? I've got to clean them up. Now, some folks want those in aluminum, right, or steel, or whatever they want, and that's fine. They're expensive. I get those from Shapeways. I don't have metal printing machines, but everything else is printed. Here on this car is an example of the ashtray that's functional. This is done in on an SLA machine. It's nice. It's a nice thing. A little brittle. Be careful what I choose to use use that technology on in terms of this car for functionality's sake. But the SLA does a great job with detail. For example, open this up here. These are front grills on the SLA machine, right? Clean all that off, and they fit absolutely beautifully, and they look good. These look really nice, and you get the same look with PLA with the FDM machine. However, the post-processing to clean them up is a bit more involved with the FDM machine. But these other parts here, for example, this is the exterior trim piece, and all it does is fit on here. It's been obviously sized for these cars. There's a little variation, but they're pretty close, and just a little trimming is needed, right? This material here is SLA machine again. It's a different type of material they're using. It's more flexible. It doesn't break nearly as easily, and it's suitable. Again, some folks have opted for this to be chrome, these pieces to be chrome, and that's fine. Or rhodium, or whatever you want to use. And so what I did was these these files are also in pieces because you have a limitation in terms of the size that can be coated. So I had these SLF, this for example is in 4 pieces as well, for those that want a bit more exotic. So again, that gets expensive, but some folks are able to do that, and that's good. So that's this car, okay? This looks rough here, I get it, but it looks great once it's covered, right? Same thing here. Looks a little rough over here, but once it's covered up, it's just a clean look, right? Once I get it into place, it's very nice, and get it all painted and filled in. So, of course, you see the steering wheel here, the interior bits of it. Again, this is an SLA machine. Beautiful, beautiful detail, but just not sturdy. This was just the model so I could get everything lined up. I used this. I've dropped it and broken it. Just glued it back together. Again, this will be done in another material, much more sturdy material. So anyway, that's this car.